Hey guys, and welcome back to another Unfiltered Gamer board game review. And today's game up on the tabletop is Kata by Hands On Games. Now, this is a 1 to 8 player card game where it plays similar to games like Speed and games like Uno. And by that I mean that there are multiple ways to play the game Kata. The base game mode though is 1 to 8 players, and you're basically dropping down cards from your hand to try and empty your hand and become the master. Get down to the last 2 players, and then there could be a showdown, as well as a bunch of optional rules as well, which we'll cover. I'll talk about the basics of the game, how to play, and of course, my review. Let's get into it. Setting up the game will depend on what version of the game that you have. There's the small box, medium, and deluxe box here for Kata. The small box version of the game is going to come with the basic discipline modes, 1 through 8 player game mode, and you're just going to get a box of cards here. The medium box gives you these chi tokens that you can utilize for the chain attack discipline of the new card game version of Kata, and the deluxified version, which gives you the playmat and extra deck, and of course the tokens and everything else that you see here. For setup in the base mode of the game, which is the main one I'm covering in this review, you're going to take the deck of cards, shuffle the deck of cards, and then deal out a number of cards to each player. Now, when you look in the rules, it will depend on the number of players in the game. They'll determine how many cards. In a 2-player game, 10 cards per each player, 3 is 9, 4 is 8, and so on and so forth. In a 2-player example, basically you just shuffle this deck of cards, then you'll deal out 10 cards to each player, giving them a hand of 10 cards each, and you'll set the rest of the deck aside within reach of all players. There's also a practice dummy card that you'll set aside, your rules of engagement rulebook you'll set aside, and this little left and right arrow. And you'll place it to the dealer, and you're going to place it going clockwise with the dealer so that it can rotate and change directions when it moves. After each player has their hand of 10 cards and the deck somewhere within reach, the game is ready to play for the majority of the modes of the game. There you go. I'll talk about the other setup for the kind of it's called like a head-to-head kind of difficulty or showdown mode. I'll talk about that in my review though. But yeah, this is how you set the game up. 10 cards per player or less, depending on the number of players you're playing with. Playing the game is simple. You'll have your hand of cards in hand, and you're going to obviously want to organize it like you would any other card game that plays similar to Uno, so that you have the different colored cards together. There's blue, orange, and there's white, as well as there are unique cards that let you block and dodge that are green that you can set aside. The first player is then going to go ahead and play a combo or a card of their specific color. And so, for instance, they might choose to play a jump card that is white, and if they want, they can actually follow that up with a punch. And the next player is then going to take their turn, and it's going to go back and forth. Now, the rule of play is the first player can play any of the 3 colors, and you can obviously combo if you want with a jump and a punch or a jump and a kick. And then once you do so, the next player will have a chance to play. So I can now play a punch card as long as it's white. And then the next player will have an opportunity to play. And they will keep playing as long as they have cards of that color. If they don't have cards of that color in their hand anymore, then they're going to have to make a decision. They have to draw a card from the deck like they would normally Uno. If you can't play a card, then you go ahead and draw a card. However, there are unique cards in the game. There's dodge, and there's counters, and there's blocks. And each of these cards do something different, and you can find in the rulebook what they do. And we'll just, I guess, discuss them right now. So the first one we'll talk about, I believe, is dodge. Dodge will let you avoid an attack, and then you don't have to draw a card. So it's basically skipping your turn so that your opponent will have to go again to check to see if they actually have another of that same color in their hand. And if they do, they just play and it goes back to your turn. Otherwise, they might actually have to draw or play one of their cards. Like, for instance, they could choose to play a card like block. If they play a block card, block is going to basically make the previous fighter pick up the last card on the stack that is a punch or a kick and put it back into their hand. In which case, then you're going to get rid of all of these cards, you'll clear them all, and play a new card out to change the color. So this player would play this block card, make the previous player pick up this punch card, remove the rest of the field, and then thusly they get to choose a new type of combat. Jump and punch. And back and forth they would go. This player could then play a kick, etc., etc. And then the last one is the counter. when you play a counter, it reverses the direction of play to the opposite way. So when you're playing with more than 2 players, this will matter, but in 2 players, it doesn't matter. Basically, it changes the order in which players are going to play cards. I've played the counter, now it's going to go this way. You're also basically going to clear the field as well, and it allows the fighter to play any new card that they want in any color that they'd like a jump and a kick. And then the next player in the new turn order will get a chance to play, thusly playing a punch, followed by another player playing the jump and punch. Then this player plays the kick, and then this player plays the punch, and then this player plays the kick. And they're out of cards in their hand, in which case, when you run out of cards in your hand, you win the game. There is a few rules and exceptions to this. If you do not have a punch or a kick as your last card, when you play your last card, you have to draw a card. So your final card to win this mode of gameplay is with a punch or a kick of the color of the type that is on the stack. And that's basically this mode of play. Basically drawing a number of cards based on the number of players, then going from the dealer's left or right, depending on the game mode, and playing a card and passing. If you can't play a card, you draw a card from the deck, and you're trying to empty your hand, with your last card being either a punch or a kick card for the game card Kata. It's a pretty simple, straightforward game that plays similar to Uno, with a few little variants attached to it, as well as, of course, the unique green cards that will either let you dodge, counter, or block your opponent's attacks. But that is the gameplay. So before we get into my full review, I want to talk about a few of the other game modes. Now, the first one I talked about is the basically 2 to 8 player game mode. It's where you draw cards, play back and forth. Can't play how you have to draw, and you want to empty your hand. It's a pretty simple, straightforward one that plays kind of like Uno. And what happens is the player who wins is the master. And basically, people keep playing until there's the last 2 players remaining. And if you want, then you can have a showdown. And the showdown is right after that in the rules, from the basic rules, right here. And how that works is you're going to be giving each player half of the deck, and they are going to basically be playing cards from the deck onto their respective field areas on this game board here. And then they're going to take 2 cards, and they're going to be placing them in spots on the field. Oh, these guys here, sorry. So that way you can now play cards in these 2 areas. And this game actually plays similar to the version of Speed that I played in high school, where you're going to match color with color, followed by green cards being kind of wilds that block your other opponent from play, allowing you to play new color combos, and you're trying to run out your deck. So you can only play with the 3 cards that you have on your field, and whenever you play one, you can then switch it with a new card. And you're dropping these cards down, refilling your game board, progressing as quickly as possible. And obviously, some players are going to be able to play faster than others, depending on the cards that are available to them in this stack here. And they're going to keep dropping these cards down. And your objective is obviously to empty your deck. Now, when you play a green card, it blocks the area off. Thusly, only you can play on it, and you can then switch the color, which then can allow another player to play their cards, filling up their game board, and thusly trying to eliminate the cards in their deck. And it goes until basically some player eliminates all the cards in their deck, thusly letting them be the next winner of the game. You can also have it just be that you can kind of set this mode to however you'd like, or just simply play this mode on its own. It doesn't utilize the direction, it doesn't utilize these key tokens. There's chain attacks that you can thusly give players chi tokens to make them allow them to do bonus extra combos. There's another mode in the game that allows you to utilize Royal Match with Chi, or it's called a Royale with Chi, as opposed to a Royale with Cheese, where you can utilize these as HP markers, and thusly you're kind of choosing who you combat with when playing these cards down, and having a one-on-one bout with them in a multiplayer game, and when they lose, they will lose a token. And you're basically trying to remove their HP from the game, just another type of variant for the game. And there's also a practice dummy. It's a solo player mode to the game where you have the entire deck of cards out, a limited selection of cards you can utilize, and you can play on a practice dummy. In fact, there's actually a full app that you can utilize. So it kind of gives you an idea of how the game is played. With, of course, the different variants changing up play. Well, you can go on either Apple or Android to download it, or just simply play with the cards that you already have on hand. I played the practice dummy already, and I got to take a little look-see at how it plays. It's a fun, unique little kind of solitaire variant of the game. So there are quite a lot of different variable changes in the game. There's different things you can do with them. There's like other disciplines in the rules that teaches you about the different royale combat. There's the practice dummy, the basic card kata modifiers that you can change the game with, optional rules, and then the two main modes, the showdown and the basic rules. So there are a lot of different variants that come in with card kata. Okay, I think I've given you guys enough information about how many different variants there are with this game and how it basically plays. This is a play-like with like type game. It functions similar to games like Speed or games like the Uno, but there is unique changes to it. This game plays fast. This is a quick playing card combat game, dropping cards, emptying your hand, and winning before anybody else does. It plays like a quick back and forth. It reminds me of if Rock'em Sock'em Robots was a card game, in which case you're just bashing each other in the face until you've emptied your hand of cards. That's how card kata plays. There's also kind of this mini-game inspired thing to this game where there's lots of different variants, lots of different ways to play and how you can utilize your cards, and of course the way in which you use combos. Sometimes you can play a jump kick, sometimes you can play jumps, a punch on a kick or a kick on a punch, or punches on punches with different colors. It really just depends on the game mode that you are playing. I'm sure there's also going to be other variants that are made with this game where you can kind of customize how you choose to play this game. Each of the different unique green cards is pretty fun, being able to dodge, block, and counter, but there's also a unique card called a Chaos card. It's a special card that allows you to, there it is, drop it down as kind of a super wild. It's very, very powerful, but there's only one in the deck. Card kata is a game of strategy and a game of chance. Quite a bit of luck, in fact, based on the game mode that you're playing. The whim of the game is going to be based on what you draw and whether or not you're able to play any cards. But because it plays so quickly, it plays so back and forth, you're feeling the excitement and the rush of the game as you play. It's probably about as much complexity as a game of Uno and about the same as much strategy as well. It's not overtly like a hard thinker. It's not a brain dead game either. It's probably somewhere in the middle as far as card games go, but it is very straightforward. If you're looking for a back and forth game that goes wham, 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 thank you, ma'am, and then you're done, then this is going to be a solid game for you to choose. The fact that there are different variants of the game, there's a small box, medium, and large box that you can play with just simply with a deck of cards you can take anywhere, or you can drop it down for so many variants with the game mat, the chi tokens, as well as, of course, the deck. It provides kind of a unique play this wherever and whatever type of game that you'd like. If you have a little table on a plane, you can drop down and play the speed mode or play the basic back and forth game mode. And if you want to play with 8 players, when you do that with the big box, you can do that as well with a lot of space and, of course, throwing in additional decks to the mix if you would like. There's really no problem with adding more cards to it, giving more players cards to have a longer game. It is a big variant game. Quality is nice, the game mat is nice. This is a soft felt game mat. The card quality is nice, so it'll last you as you play, dropping these cards down rather quickly. And then the tokens are nice, thick, hard plastic as well. It's an enjoyable game, but it's one of those games that I'm going to bring out with specific audiences. Audiences who are looking for a quick game, something simple, not too crazy, but something that's crazy in its throwing and having fun like that. This also reminds me of kind of like a flashback of my childhood where I played a lot of games like Speed and Uno and those type of things. And this is a more modernized, kind of unique take on those style games. So if that's what you're looking for, this is going to be the game for you. For me, it's kind of right down the middle. It's going to be a game where I only want to play when I'm specifically in the mood for something quick, like a game of Speed or a game of Uno, specifically with an audience who's kind of more in the gateway area of games. Then this would be for you. Otherwise, it's going to be a pass. If you're not looking for something that's light and quick and fast, then you're going to want something probably a little more complex and heavy in the strategy. And this definitely knows where it is and knows where it falls in this category. As you play this game, you kind of get that feel for card kata. So if you're looking for this, it's a link down below in the description so you can pick up this game and give it a try. Also, of course, don't forget to check out the app. It's free. Thank you guys for watching the Unfiltered Gamer board game review for the game Card Kata by Hands On Games. If you're interested, like I said before, there is a link down below in the description where you can go ahead and pick up this game. And if you would like, go ahead and check out that app as well. There's an app online where you can go ahead and practice on the dummy and see how fast you can do it and how high your score is. There could be a little leaderboard. It's a pretty generic not generic, a pretty basic app right now, but it does exactly what it needs to do as far as teaching you how that practice dummy mode is played, and it's a fun little solitaire game that you can play pretty much anywhere. So there you go. Like, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you're interested so you can see more of our videos here. We do a live stream every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. PST. Sometimes 7:30, just depends on when the baby gets up, or goes to sleep, I should say. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, I look forward to dropping it down with some card kata with you next time.